Hey there, Drew. Great to see you.
It's great to see you too.
I know you've got the book coming out and you've got a
Yes.
tour. And so we're all going to be able to get a little taste of you in different cities. So talk a little bit about what's happening with you. Because I think this
Yeah.
book, you said, even though you've got everything going on with your social, this book is a big part of things for you.
I started writing it January of last year and wrote until August of last year. So it's been a very long process, and it's one of those things that it takes so long to actually come to fruition that it doesn't really feel real until it's happening. So now that, we're going on tour and to promote the book, and the book itself is coming out and will be everybody's July 30th. It feels a lot more tangible now. But the process of writing the book was very therapeutic and very rewarding in a lot of ways. And I'm just really excited for people to have it. I think it's something I'm very, very proud of. So I hope everybody loves it as much as I do.
Well, I love the title, Loud, accept nothing less than the life you deserve. Is there something in the book, like the process of writing a book, I feel like is very different than what anybody does, whether they're on camera and social and real life. Did you feel that difference? I mean, it's almost like a more raw experience for some weird reason.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think my social presence is very silly, and it's very nature, and it's obviously I'm a comedian, so I love to tell jokes and I love to make people laugh and entertain. I think the book is just an expansion of my brain in a different light, and it gives people the opportunity to kind of see my thought processes and like why I believe the things I do, and how that came to be, and why that's something that I felt would be better expanded on in a book. Like there are some topics I discuss in the book that I've never talked about publicly, and that's solely because I felt like half of it was I felt like I wasn't ready, but that I feel like the other part was I wanted more space to be able to elaborate further and be able to delve deeper and give people more context and nuance and kind of handle it with like a gentleness and care that you can't really achieve in like quick videos on the internet.
Talk a little bit about the context of things, where it all started for you.
I'm 28, going to be 29. So in TikTok years, I'm 100. Most people online think
then I'm 1,000. If you're 100, I'm 1,000.
I know. That's honestly how they look at me. So many like TikTokers look at me like I'm geriatric, but so I personally did grow up with social media. After college, I got a job working at the NFL, and then I got fired, and then the pandemic hit, and all of those things kind of snowballed one after the other. And that's when I started posting videos on TikTok. My boyfriend encouraged me to do something like a little more creative, because back in the day, I would record myself ranting about things that I thought were funny, just for entertainment of my friends. I just used to do it for them because they used to love to watch me, and I love to yap. So of course I'm going to record myself talking and being funny to me. And so I started posting on TikTok, and that was kind of what happened. It just like snowballed into this huge platform that I have now, which I'm so grateful for, because at one point I thought my purpose was to work in sports, and now I know this is actually my true purpose.
In those moments where you don't know, you leave a job, you get fired from a job, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is next? But when you moved into that, did you have those feelings or fear as you were, uploading your first or posting the first TikTok or video, or did you just say, we'll see what happens?
No, honestly, I did feel very fearful. I did feel very unsure. I'm a Virgo. I don't know how much you love astrology, but like Virgos,
yes.
I'm very goal oriented. I'm very organized. I'm very schedule driven, and I have lots of goals and plans, and I had plans on plans on plans. And as up until that point when I got fired, my plans were working out exactly the way I predicted they would, because that's just how I operate. And so that was the first time I truly had no idea what I was going to do next. And I've never experienced that feeling before. So it was definitely very difficult at the time, but it was also a period of growth for me, and an opportunity for me to kind of like rethink what it is I really wanted to do. Like, did I really want to work in sports, or did I think I was destined for something else, and maybe this was the opportunity for me to pivot. And so thankfully I did, because it turns out I'm a lot better at this. So I'm way more talented here.
I would say people have seen that for sure. Have you always fought back for women? I mean, you validate women. You've built a huge community. You've said before, if you're not willing to, be loud and fight back, you can stand behind me and I'll do it for you. I think that makes a lot of women feel just very whole and, safe.
Yeah, as far as being, a bully of bullies, I have been that way. My sister was actually the first person I ever defended from bullies, and the first person I stood up for. And my mom has always been that way too. So it's always been in me, and I do talk about this in the book too, that like, I think a true purpose of mine is a protector. Like, I've always been someone who thrives when I protect others or feel like I am. And so this, platform and the community that I've been able to build on all my socials is like an inherent form of protection for everyone. So I've always had this drive to stand up for people, and turns out I'm really good at it. So it worked out.
I feel like you're really good at it. I feel like there's no shortage of men out there giving you a lot of content to be able to do something. I mean, I have to imagine.
Me and the men who hate me, which are awful men online, we have a real symbiotic relationship. One can't exist without the other, so they are never going to stop being awful, and I'm never going to stop telling them how awful they are. So I think we're a match made in heaven. I think they would say otherwise, but I think we're meant to be.
I mean, it's worked out very well for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Drew, what was it like to be on Drew? Was that your first time doing an appearance like that one, or?
That was my first daytime television kind of experience, and Drew was incredible. She was amazing, and we only had 5-10 minutes. Literally, my segment that I filmed with her was when I met her, when we chatted for 30 seconds, did the segment, and then she talked to me for 30 more seconds, then I left. So I adore her, and I was actually named after her. My mom wanted to give me a gender neutral name, because right before I was born, she had watched a program that said something about if two resumes are exactly the same, employers are more likely to pick one with a more masculine presenting name. So she named me Drew, because it's she loved Drew Barrymore, and she's like, oh, that's gender neutral. So that's actually why my name is Drew. And I didn't get a chance to tell her that, but I'm sure I'll see her again. But I'm sure I'll see her again.
We're going to share this with her is what we're going to do.
Yeah,
I love
perfect.
that. That's a great story. Oh my gosh, you have to tell her that. We'll figure out a way to do that. We'll figure out a way to do that.
We'll go to dinner. We'll go to dinner. We'll hang out. It'll be fine.
Exactly. Okay, you've got the tour coming up. Talk a little bit about what people can expect in the tour, because it's part podcast, part comedy tour, part book tour, right? It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm, going on tour to promote Loud, obviously my book, but I'm going on tour with my sister Dason, because we have a podcast called 288 Girls, and we have actually gone on tour already. We did a little baby tour early 2023, and it was so fun and so exciting. So it's basically just the podcast live, and in addition to that, we're also going to talk a lot about the book, and the topics that we are choosing right now are related to my book and everything within it. And then you can also buy the book there at the show itself, and you could just come and giggle and laugh and have a good time and leave pumped up. So that's our overall goal, but I think it's going to be very fun, and I'm very excited.
I think it's going to be great. A few things. So I ran a matchmaking business a long time ago. So just an offside, there were no shortage of ridiculous men that came to us looking for matches. So wow. I feel like you would enjoy so many of those stories at some point.
Sure.
2, advice to your younger self.
I would tell her to relax, first of all. And then I would tell her that not everything is going to work out exactly the way you planned, but it is going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to.
Do you think you're in your supposed to?
Absolutely, I do. I would also tell her to stop tweezing her eyebrows, because that doesn't work out for us in the future. So
You're
lay
so
off.
Right. You are so right. Well, thank you so much. I talk mostly to women in midlife and menopause, and so it's so refreshing, because I feel like women want this information younger and younger now, and so I just feel like social media connects so many people in different ways, even though I'm 1,000 years old on TikTok.
You and me both, girl. So we're in it together.
Drew, you're wonderful. Thank you so much.
You. Oh my gosh, thank
All
you so
right.
much for having me. It's been a blast.